These are four former MATC scholars. I think one was attended in 2015. The other three were 2017, if I have it correctly. And they are from Prairie View A&M University and also the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. They will take a few minutes to tell about themselves, what they're doing, what they're going to be doing, and how attending this type of conference helped with their career decisions. And then they're going to open it up for you to pick their brain and learn from them as much as you so desire. So with that being the case, I'll start off with, and I'll go in order of the program. I'll start off with Devin Addison Turner, who is an undergrad senior student about ready to leave us in this coming May. And so Devin, take a few minutes to do those things that I had mentioned earlier.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Perkins. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. I know I've certainly enjoyed this program. But my name is Devin Addison Turner again. I am a student at Prairie View A&M University, a senior undergraduate civil and environmental engineering student. I'm also a first generation student as well, especially in STEM, and I'm an African American. I was born in Houston, Texas, and was raised in the inner city of Houston. I'm graduating in May 2021, and I'll with a Bachelor of Science in civil and environmental engineering, and I'll be attending Stanford University this upcoming fall. I'm also a recipient of the Jim Full Fellowship, and so I'll be focusing on clean energy solutions going into graduate school. I have an independent research project that I'll be working on to pursue my PhD. I've held various leadership positions in organizations like National Society of Black Engineers, as well as the National Society of Collegiate Scholars. As of this past year, Dr. Perkins and I were successful in establishing an Engineers Without Borders USA chapter at Prairie View, which that's never been done before, but we were able to do that to provide more students, more technical and global opportunities. So I'm really happy about that as well. I've been very active in my community, engaged, hosted a variety of different workshops, managed different organizations, things of that nature, volunteering. My academic or my professional research experience consists of, working at different places like the Naval Facilities Engineering Command in Washington, D.C., and that was in 2017. So then in 2018, I had a co-op with Centerpoint Energy. 2019, I worked on the Toyota Mobility Challenge research project with Dr. Perkins as a co-principal investigator for the research project. And then and that was for a year. Then 2020, I was an undergraduate research assistant for the Center for Energy and Environmental Sustainability at the university, working on renewable energy projects as well. And currently I am an environmental intern with a company called NG North America, which they're focused on decarbonization and clean energy solutions as well. They're a global energy company. And most of my work pretty much consisted of, site development projects, utilizing different type of cutting edge softwares like AutoCAD, which are very important to brush up on your software skills, conducting literature reviews, designing and executing various experiments in transportation and renewable energy, collaborating with public entities and stakeholder engagements. And then this summer, I will be joining the Argonne National Laboratory as a GEM intern, as a GEM graduate research intern for the summer. And I was awarded that full fellowship to attend Stanford University. And then, of course, and I've served in other roles as well to recruit minority students for various STEM programs at organizations like, or places like the U.S. Naval Research Laboratories, recruiting Black and Asian students for those type of opportunities. And then just really focus on increasing awareness for the different academic and professional opportunities that are out there to inspire minority students like myself to pay it forward. And that's pretty much a summary about me.
Okay. Thank you there. Next, we'll have Ms. Tucci Chukwu.
Tochi Chukwu.
Okay, and she is a field test validation engineer with Cummings Incorporated, and she is a UMES graduate.
Yes. I hope everyone can hear me well. All right, well, thank you, Dr. Perkins, for this opportunity. As Dr. Perkins said, my name is Tochi Chukwu. I am a field test validation engineer at Cummins. For those of you that don't know what Cummins is, we design, manufacture, and distribute engines, filtration, and power gen products. I graduated from the University of Maryland-Eastern Shore in 2018, December. And I was a MATC scholar in 2015. I guess that was my very first experience traveling out of my campus to go get an experience with another school, to learn more about opportunities outside my usual environment. And that helped me to understand the opportunities that I had outside my campus and the resources that were available to me. After I graduated, I joined the company. I guess my path to where I'm at right now was a little bit different. I am an international student, so I had the option of either going to work or finding a graduate school or go back home to my country. So I was trying to, stay and work and I guess use the resources I have to go back to college, to grad school after. So I'm looking forward to answering all the questions you guys might have.
Okay. Mr. Rasul Diop, he is a graduate research assistant, Purdue University, working on his PhD. He's a graduate of PVAMU.
Thank you, Dr. Perkins. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I'm sure this program has definitely enriched y'all a lot, as it did me back in 2017 when I was a MATC scholar. But as Dr. Perkins mentioned, my name is Rasul Diop. I am a third-year PhD student at Purdue University, and my graduate program is in environmental ecological engineering. And my research is kind of focused on water treatment and water quality in developing countries. So that's mainly what I'm working on now. And like Dr. Perkins mentioned, I was a graduate of Prairie View back in 2018. I'm from Dallas, Texas originally. And I think that's pretty much it for me. I'll probably learn more about me in the question and answer. So, thank you.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Joshua Orbia. Did I pronounce it correctly, Joshua?
Joshua Orebi. So
okay. And
much.
Okay, and Joshua is a graduate research assistant working on his master's degree at Villanova University, and he is a graduate of UMES.
Thank you, Dr. Perkins, for the stage. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
I'm glad to see all these smiling faces. I'm glad you guys been enjoying all the the talks and the sessions that have been had today. My name is Joshua Orebi, like Dr. Perkins said. I'm a graduate of University of Maryland-Eastern Shore. I actually graduated with Tochi. That was my senior design partner. So we went through a lot of different challenges together. Thanks to Dr. Dabibi, I was able to attend the MATC conference as a MATC scholar in 2017. That was actually the weekend of my birthday. So I had a great time, great opportunity. And even from that conference, one thing that really stood out to me that I still apply to this day that Marcus Huggins said earlier, or I'm not sure if he said earlier today, but he told when I was at the conference, he said that grad school is free. And that's actually how I'm in grad school now. There's always opportunities to find funding. Grad school is definitely free. You put in the work and you look for the opportunities. I actually went to grad school a year after I graduated. I took a year off. I worked with Northrop Grumman. I had an internship with them from 2017 to just until I went back to school. I worked in Redondo Beach, California. I'm originally from Maryland, but I take any opportunity I can just to help myself grow. I'm looking forward to answering all the questions you guys have.
Okay. Now, with that, let's kind of somewhat do it in a little orderly fashion because I know lots of you have questions. So perhaps maybe if you use the icons and raising your hand or something to that effect, then I can call on you accordingly and look like Ms. Dakawa first up. So from there, I'll go to Ms. Pearson and so forth and so on. So after you've answered your question, go ahead and lower your hand, and that way I'll know what to do next. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you guys. I am Kiana Dakwa. I'm a civil engineering senior at Tennessee State University. And my question is for Ms. Tochi. I heard that you mentioned that you were either going to go to graduate school or go back home to your country. And I noticed that you are also working in your field, being successful in the United States. I wanted to ask you if you have ever considered going back home to do work in your country, and may I ask what country that is?
Yes, thanks for your question. I am from Nigeria. Currently, I do not plan to go back right now, but yes, I will eventually. After I graduated, I knew that I wanted to work for a while and get that experience before going back to grad school. Graduate school is definitely on my list. So I wanted to work first and then get the opportunity to get like my employer to sponsor my grad school for me, which is an option for me right now. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Pearson?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. My name is Javion Pearson, and I am a mechanical engineering major from Southern University at the Baton Rouge campus. So my question is actually for all of you. I wanted to know, what was the moment when you realized, okay, yes, I am going to go to graduate school? Because I know for at least for some of the peers that I attend college with, they're not initially thinking about going to grad school, starting out in college as freshmen and sophomores. So what was it for you that made you decide, okay, yes, this is something that I want to pursue. I am going to go to grad school. And also, what are some of the benefits that you're already seeing from making that decision to go to grad school?
We'll start with Joshua. We'll come from the bottom of the list and come up. So Joshua, you take your first stab at that question, and then we'll come through the rest of the presentees for that.
Well, thank you so much. So for me, my path was a little bit different because after graduating, I took a year off just to work, just to see how I wanted, where I wanted to see my life in the next 5 years, 10 years, the path I saw myself down, and what I really wanted for myself. I don't know if any of you guys might relate, but for me, my undergrad career, I already knew I had to get a bachelor's degree, and I kind of did it for my parents, but it was also something I wanted to do myself. So that's what made me go and get my bachelor's. And that year I took off after graduating with my bachelor's, I really realized that for myself, I had to see where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, and how I wanted to get there. And I did research in my undergrad years. I worked with the program called LOXI, Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. So through that opportunity, I actually had papers published. I actually presented at multiple conferences from East Coast to West Coast. I also presented in Peru, everything paid for, flew me out, everything. So I knew that research was something I was definitely interested in. And with where I saw myself, I knew that going to grad school would help me get there. And then with that decision, it took me some time to think about whether I want to go get a PhD, whether I want to get a master's, and then in what area, because grad school is a lot more specialized, is more focused. So with me, I had to see what interest I found within the school I wanted to attend. And I'm now doing my master's program with a concentration in material science, working with composite materials to build radomes for the Air Force, and radomes are the domes that cover satellites and radars that protect them and also help radio frequency signals pass through them smoothly.
Okay. Rasul, you're next on that same question. And I do see all the other hand raised, so we'll get to let every presenter speak to the question that Ms. Pearson asked. So Rasul?
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what Joshua was saying about, basically finding your own path and how to get there. Because myself personally, there's only one other person in my family that actually went to graduate school. And that was my aunt, and she went on later in life. So I really had no outside influences growing up that, told me that I need to go to grad school and pursue an advanced degree. It was always, get a job, go to school, get a job so you can work and then retire when you're like 60. But I'm like, I was like internally, I had to decide whether or not that's what I wanted to do for like my goals for myself, or if I could find another pathway to figure out, this is where I want to go. This is what I need to do to get to it. And so I think I really didn't find out that I wanted to go to grad school until like November of my senior year. And that's kind of late for some people, but I mean, I'm here now, so it obviously worked, but I wouldn't recommend waiting till the last minute to apply like I did, but that's what I did. And then I saw all of the opportunities that grad school just opened for me apart from working, because there's certain opportunities you get from working. I think because I did internships in California my sophomore and junior year, and so I saw kind of like the industry side, and then I saw the academia and research side. And I think how my mind works in terms of wanting to find new solutions and solve problems as an engineer, I think grad school was the best choice for me to do that. And so, my research now is focusing on, like I said, sustainable, like water treatment, water quality in developing countries. I've actually had the opportunity to go to Kenya in 2019. And so my focus right now has been doing water treatment studies in Africa. And that's something I've always been passionate about since I was a kid, is going to Africa and getting to see all that stuff. And not necessarily saying that I wouldn't have got those opportunities working. I think it may have been hard to dictate my own path if I was working, rather than, in grad school, I can apply to grants and different opportunities to do those sorts of things. So basically all that to say is what Josh said about, finding your own path and finding your own way to navigate that. I think by that time, my senior year, that's when I knew that I need to go to grad school. So whatever your end goal is, the pathway is your own.
Tucci?
Yes. So I did a couple of research jobs on campus. I worked with various professors, including Dr. DePipi on the call, and I partnered with some external universities as well. So I knew that I always wanted to do research, always, interested in that research, but I wanted to, wait. And now that I am actually in the industry, like working industry, I'm starting to really see the benefits of actually having a master's or your PhD degree, because it literally sets you apart from everyone else. When you're specialized and advanced in that degree, you get more money. Obviously, of course, you get more money. You're open to more like projects that you're working with higher level folks in the company, and you have that visibility and recognition because you have that that degree. And I guess everyone looks to you as a specialist in that field. So you have the chance to, shine and be more recognized as well. So that's my own point of view.
Devin, thank you.
So to pretty much echo what everyone else said, from Mr. Joshua as well as Ms. Tucci and Rasul, it is about creating your own path. Essentially, you have to find your way. For me, I'm just, go with what your curiosity is. And so that's what I just was doing. I came into Prairie View, not really knowing what to expect. I knew I wanted to go to college, but, I wasn't familiar with the process or what academia could offer or anything like that. And, I'm pretty much used to working. I've worked all kinds of different jobs since high school, from fast food, entertainment, you name it. So, knowing that, okay, I don't want to do anything particularly with that, so I'm going to go into STEM. And then from there, getting involved in, these professional and academic organizations like NSBE, and meeting with various professionals who are accomplished that, look like us essentially, and that are making these positive impacts. It really, piqued my interest. And so I just started, going out there and, trying to secure internships, doing the research, working on various projects, just to become more knowledgeable, and what is what you can possibly achieve. And so from there, you do meet people along the way. You meet, professionals and, people that can essentially guide you and become mentors. And so going into 2017, because I started my undergrad in 2015, Dr. Perkins was gracious enough to select me as a MATC scholar. And, and that's when I really got exposure as to what graduate school could really offer. And, in terms of not having to worry about the expenses or stresses of other things, and being able to just focus on graduate school, from the funding opportunities to, pursuing your own ideas essentially. And, I would recommend, going out there to try and secure as many opportunities as you can as possible to see what fits you. Go work those different type of jobs, go, become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and really taking that leap, because you'll find that, even though it's common for, a lot of us to not or want to go into industry right away. And, it's like, oh, you hear from your peers, this is, why grad school, right? And I know that was a segment, but you really have to find out what works for you. And I think that, really from all those different experiences and seeing how, I could really make an impact on a global scale. And, I want to be an innovator. I plan on coming up with new ideas and obtaining a patent, I'm in graduate school, and, really making a change on the world in a way where it's more so how I want to do it, not what's already set in stone and what's expected. And you don't really see a lot of us in, the graduate setting. You can look at, the sites, a lot of school websites have statistics on the, ethnicity groups that they accept into their programs. And you don't really see, it's really low for, Black and brown students and underserved and minority students. So for me, I felt that I wanted to change that. And that's why, I chose to, do as much as I did, and continue to do that, and, apply to those graduate schools. And, I was blessed enough, with all the hard work to receive that GEM-full fellowship. And, now paying for graduate school, I don't have to necessarily worry about that. And I'm going to try and continue to secure as many scholarships and fellowships as possible during this time. So I think it is important to just go out there and try different things to know what's going to work for you.
Okay. Thank you much. Ms. Mundy, you're next with your question.
Yes, thank you. My question is for Tucci. I know you said that you worked before you went back to grad school, and I'm kind of in that predicament right now where I'm thinking about, going in the field probably 2 or 3 years and then going back. So how did that time in the field prepare yourself, or how did you prepare your mind to go back to grad school, and how did you manage your time working and then going to school?
I guess I said something wrong. I'm currently still working right now. I've been in the field for a little bit over 2 years, and I plan on going back for my master's hopefully next year. So I guess I could just talk about what I am doing right now. So I guess the first thing I really did was make sure that my company would provide me some kind of funding for me to go back to school, because funding was the most important thing for me. And talking with my team members, because most of my teammates are, have advanced degrees in the engineering field. So reaching out to other employees in the company to see what they've done, the universities they've been to, and their experience, to get, I guess, an idea of the path I wanted to follow in the engineering field. And I guess doing my own research. Since working from home for a year now, I guess I've had a little bit more time to do research about the universities, what research they're doing, the the professors there on, basically anything I needed to make the right decision for, starting my master's degree.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I might be better fit to answer that question because I took a year off myself.
Sure.
So what I did, personally, my situation, I waited till last minute. I applied. I reached out to professors. They said they can give me funding. And I wasn't mentally prepared to go back to grad school. And that really hindered me in the first part of grad school and hurt me a lot when everything went online. And one thing I will say from my experience is that one thing you should be ready to get into is that when you're going back into school, you're no longer working, you're a student. So as a student, whether they tell you this or not, your work comes home with you. You're constantly thinking about how you're going to get your assignments done, what you want to do in terms of your schedule, how you want to organize everything. And as a master's student, as a graduate student, just in general, everything is self-sufficient. Everything is on your own. So we have classes once a week, 1 3-hour class a week. And you would think, oh, that's a lot of time. And it's not, because that 3-hour lecture, every word in that lecture matters. And if you aren't paying attention, you'll miss something that's very important and you will not be able to understand it. And these are some of the things that I really had to go through myself to understand that, with everything being so specialized, there's a strong focus on the subjects that you're studying. And you need to be able to take accountability for your own time, take accountability for how you manage your time, and take accountability for your actions, because you only have 24 hours in a day and we all have the same 24 hours. And how you use that in your grad program will determine your success.
Good. I think it was Miss Aqua, and then Ms. Hines, and then I'll come to you, Mr. Riley.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Perkins. So I kind of had like a general questions for all the panelists and then one direct question for Russell, but it's more so, what were the struggles that y'all faced, going through undergrad and now in grad school, and how did you all overcome that? And then for Russell, did you get your master's before getting your PhD as well, or you just went straight into that?
So in this response, Rasul quickly answered that, and then we'll go around to grab one struggle, how you overcame it from each of the panelists.
You want me to answer both questions or just the second question first?
Why don't you do the second question first and then answer the first question? And then I'll do the round robin with the other three.
Okay, got it. So I did get my master's before I did my PhD, just because I didn't do a thesis-based master's, which is where you have to do like a thesis, defend a thesis and everything. I just did a non-thesis master's, which is you take classes and once you get the credits, they give you your master's. So it was like a no-brainer for me, just in case something happened and I might have to withdraw from the university or something like that. And then as far as the struggles part, I think one of the biggest ones for me, I don't want to say, so I grew up in a predominantly Black and Latino neighborhood, so I didn't really see any, white people or anything like that growing up. And at Prairie View, there were some, but I think when I first got to Purdue, it was kind of hard for me to find like that Black community, because it's not prominent, and it's not just, they don't advertise it. So that was a struggle for me at first. And when I finally found them, they're like my big support group now. So finding your community is definitely important when you get to grad school, because at least for PhD and research, it can kind of be isolationary. And like you get bogged down with research and everything like that. And you kind of just go off to your own self, but you have to find that time for you to make that time for you to have a social life too, because you're a student, but you still have to take care of your mental health and stuff too. And I think another struggle was trying to shift from that mindset of taking classes, because in undergrad you took classes to understand, but a lot of times you're taking it to pass because some of them you felt like weren't important. But the classes that specifically like in your program, your PhD program or master's program, they're specifically to help you with, if you're doing research, they're going to help you with your research ideally. So you want to make sure you understand, and professors understand that some of the, the course content may be hard, but as long as you're trying and you kind of understand it, they'll give you a passing grade, but you're not really worried about that. You're worried about making sure you understand. So it's not like I'm trying to survive type of thing. It's like I'm trying to build myself up and acquire the skills I need to, graduate and do what I want to do with my degree, basically. So yeah.
Okay. Tucci, if you could speak of one struggle and how you overcame it, and since you're not in grad school, maybe you can come from having been in the workforce.
Okay, so I guess the first struggle I had was adjusting to the work-life balance, because I started working literally, I think, a month right after I graduated, and I guess it was a different pace, because in school, I guess you're working based on your own time, getting assignments done and everything. But in the industry, you have a deadline. You have customers that are depending on your validation and your testing. So I had to, I guess, readjust and get my management skills better. Like your time management, you have to make sure you're doing everything with all the time you had. Like Josh said, you have 24 hours in a day, and if you take work home, then your work-life balance is unbalanced. So like trying to find that perfect balance and time that I had to do what I needed to get done to make sure I met my deadlines. So that was one of the big struggles I had at first. So I had to, I guess, talk with my team, do some research online on Google to figure out, okay, how to better, manage the time I had to, meet the deadlines I had. So.
Okay. Devin, you're not in graduate school. You have been successful in applying, but speak to one struggle that came about maybe in that vein and how you overcame it.
Yes, ma'am. So in terms of the struggle that I deal or that I've gone through, and sometimes I still deal with it, is staying mentally tough with everything that you have going on and that you're trying to do. And to speak to Dr. Huggins' point from earlier, it can be easy, or it can be easy, but also challenging in the sense of you're going to hear things from individuals that may try to deter you from accomplishing goals that, you have your own vision, and you know what you're trying to set out to do, what you want to accomplish, or, you may face, circumstances where things may not necessarily seem fair in a sense, or it may seem that, it's trying to also take away from what you're trying to essentially do in life. And so I think that's been, a huge struggle for me, and I'm pretty sure for, many others that are like us as well, being in, this arena where it's not a lot of us. And so just staying true to yourself, having that passion, having that drive, and knowing that you can accomplish whatever it is that you set out to do, regardless of any outside factors. If it's not necessarily beneficial or going to help you in that sense, don't listen to it, and as long as you're trying to do the right thing and you're trying to make a positive impact to so many others as well, I think that's, how I've been able to be successful. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, good deal. And Joshua, with you being at the master's level, one struggle, and also how you overcame it.
So I think my biggest struggle in my graduate career has been prioritizing. And I say this because I'm an entrepreneur in every sense of the word. I consider myself a hustler. I have multiple businesses, and coming out of that year of working and coming back to school, I tried to do both. I tried to handle all my businesses and tried to do these multiple businesses and try to, focus on my school. And it made me realize that something had to give. I had to put something down, and so I could focus on what I need to focus on. And it's hard to prioritize when you're thinking you need to do everything. and you're thinking, oh, I have to do this, I have to get this done. But taking the time to sit down and saying, all right, these are my goals. This is what I need to do to reach my goals. And these are the steps I'm going to take every day to accomplish my goals.
Beautiful. That hits home. Okay. All right. Paige Hines, we'll take your question, then Mr. Raleigh, and then we'll return to Ms. Dakwa, and then that will pretty much kind of help round out this, because we would like to close out today. It's been a long day at 4:00 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I do know it's a lot of rich conversation occurring here. Really good stuff. Go ahead, Mr. Raleigh.
Thank you so much, Dr. Perkins. My question is for Russell. I know you go to Purdue University for your master's PhD. Can you kind of talk about the program that you're in and kind of your process in applying to Purdue, and I guess little like kind of struggles that you kind of ran into?
Yeah, for sure. So like I mentioned before, I didn't really plan on going to graduate school until like November of my senior year. And I was working, what happened was I was working in the center for the CES Center and under Dr. Kamalapati, which is the environmental professor at Prairie View. And he brought a speaker in from Purdue, and she started talking about all these great things in environmental engineering that I had myself wanted to do like pretty much my whole life. And I went to go speak with her and everything like that. And she was like, hey, you should come up here, do a visit or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I don't really know. I didn't know where Purdue was. Like, I didn't know it was in Indiana. I had never had any kind of thoughts about going to Indiana. And so they paid for me to go up there and visit. And that was a key thing too. Just like everybody mentioned, money, funding and everything like that too. So they paid for me to go up there, and I found some professors that did similar research to what I wanted to do in the realm of like water quality and water treatment and stuff like that, as well as the developing countries aspect, because that was a big thing for me, is being able to do work internationally. And so I made sure I met with those professors and everything like that, and they showed me, what they did, as well as the outside stuff. They showed me the Black Cultural Center and, the NSB chapter and everything like that there, so I could have some kind of life outside of that. And so I applied to Purdue, and then the next thing was just funding. So I had to make sure that I, was going to have a way to stay here through my 4 or 5 years in my program and everything like that. So they gave me a full fellowship. One thing I wish I had done that Dr. Perkins kind of wrote me about was apply to GEM. And I didn't do that. And she was like, oh, you got the guy right here in front of you. You didn't apply after hearing all of that? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know. So I definitely take advantage of that. When you have Dr. Huggins here in front of you, that's definitely an end with GEM. So basically, yeah, finding, your program. Purdue has I think the program that I'm in, environmental ecological engineering, is like ranked in the top 20 in the country for public universities. So that was definitely a big thing. I wanted to make sure that the program was established and had the right type of stuff I was like that I wanted to do, that I was interested in. So the program, the funding, and then making sure the campus was like a fit for you. I knew myself that if I was in a big city or any kind of like big like venue, that I was going to get distracted. I need to be somewhere kind of like not too far from a major city, because Chicago is like 2 hours away and Indianapolis is an hour away. And I'm pretty much in the middle of nowhere in a town of 60,000 people. And that's perfect for me because I don't need to go out to the club and stuff. I mean, I guess you can't do that now. But I don't need to be going out and do all that stuff. I need to be able to focus and do some like laid back, chill stuff. Like I go fishing every now and then. So definitely making sure your environment is important. And then the last major thing for me, like I mentioned earlier, is having a support group. Because I'm so far away from my family all the way in Texas. Having the Black Graduate Student Association here is like a big thing that I'm involved in. I'm on the e-board for that. I also am I'm a chair for a diversity council at Purdue. I'm trying to make a more equitable infrastructure at the university for people of color. So that's something I get involved in as well. So it's just about, looking for what you like, what you want to do research in. And then like if they have that, and if the person that you're matched with as your advisor, if you do have an advisor, is a good person and that you can click with and they care about you genuinely, genuinely, then that's a big plus too. I think that's pretty much it for me.
Thank you there.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Raleigh, do you still have a question for the panel? Okay. Miss Marvika, do you still have your question that you'd like to pose?
Actually, it was answered. My question was to the same as it's Ms. been asked.
Okay. And Ms. Darkaway, we'll come back to you, and you'll wrap us up with the last question.
Okay. Hello, everyone again. Okay, so my question is kind of intricate. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is just a little bit about me. I am, well, my father is from Ghana. He's from West Ghana, and so I am half Ghanaian. And I've always wanted to go home, but unfortunately, it's been hard for me to find like resources to go home. And although you say like, why don't you ask your father? But I can get into that, but I'd rather not. But I wanted to ask this question to everyone. Everyone on the panel, especially Razul and Ms. Tochi. My question for Razul is, how did you enjoy your research in Kenya? How much did you enjoy your research in Kenya? What kind of stuff did you get to do? And also my other question was to the entire panel, how, in your opinion, how do you think I should go about finding sponsorship or just help in general, like getting to Africa? Because I feel like I'm missing part of myself because I've never been to that part, to my country. And I feel like that is very, it's kind of like an emotional topic for me. I don't mean to get it too personal or anything, but like I really want to get to Africa in any means possible. So I just wanted to ask if you all had any suggestions.
So with that question, we'll start with Razul. She has two things for you, two questions, and one is for the whole panel, but I won't go through the whole panel because Devin doesn't have that international experience. So I'll go with you, Razul, and then I'll go to Tucci, and then I'll go to Joshua. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can kind of hit on both questions. I definitely feel that wanting to go home and visit. It's a different culture entirely. So basically what happened with me is I applied to a grant through another department at Purdue. It was a grant for $10,000, and it was basically to fund students to go do projects or research in international third world countries, what they labeled it as. But there's all of these grants and stuff, at least in grad school. There's a lot of grants through USAID and everything like that you can apply for. And if you have any kind of research interest or something that they feel can benefit them, you can apply for it, and they will give you money to go travel there, and they'll pay for food and lodging and everything like that. So that's kind of what happened with me. I went to Kenya for 3 weeks. I was sponsored by my lab mate. He owns a company, a water treatment company in Kenya, or in his village where he's from. So they were kind of my corporate sponsor, which we had to have as an agreement between Purdue and wherever I was going. And they had housing specifically made for Indiana University and Purdue University students there, because a lot of medical students go there to like study infectious diseases. So that was kind of unique to my situation, even though I was studying like water treatment. But I loved it there. I grew up as a child. My dad was an avid Pan-Africanist, and so I was learning about just different aspects of Africa and different languages and stuff. And so getting to go to Kenya, or let alone any part of Africa, was just a dream come true to me. The food was so good. Just getting to see like the city life and the going on the safaris and stuff like that was different. Getting to install water treatment systems in schools and seeing like teaching the children how to how this works and how to get their water and how to clean it and stuff like that it was just amazing. So like I said, just finding those grants, and that's why having an advisor in that kind of space that understands international development and stuff like that is definitely important. It was especially important for me because they knew how I could go about getting these grants and stuff like that. So if you find a person, they may not have to be in academia. They may be a person that works for USAID or any kind of grants like that, and you can just find out a way to here's a project. This is what I want to do. and I'm from Ghana, I have Ghanaian ancestry. This is how it would help, my community and stuff like that. And they'll, give you some money to go out there. And you probably don't have to pay for anything except maybe your food while you're there. So definitely just find like a contact if you can. Not sure if like your father may know any contacts there. But just trying to find those partnerships and contacts that can just get you plugged into those grants is definitely important.
Tucci, you like to add anything different or something similar?
Yeah, I can add. He pretty much said everything. Just to add on that, since you are from Ghana, I believe that there are various universities there that do exchange programs for students, internships, or volunteer programs in the summer, and that would be definitely a great way to get that experience that you're looking for. Grants is they're definitely another option. And even, applying to a company in Africa, a specific country that you're looking for the summer, to just travel there and work for the summer and get that experience, and you can travel and and get the experience that you are looking for. But I would definitely recommend the exchange program route, because there are a lot of partnerships with different organizations. I don't remember off the top of my head, but just do a simple Google search and you could find organizations that partner with countries in Africa.
Okay, and Joshua, would you like to add anything to what the other two have said? Or
Yeah, I'll also add that whether you want to go while you're in undergrad or whether you want to go when you're in grad school, you should always look into study abroad programs. If that's something you want to do when you go into grad school, make sure you check the school, see if they have study abroad programs with where you want to go. Talk to your advisor. Your advisor is going to be your right hand. I see my advisor every day, if not every other day. So that's going to be a great contact for anybody who plans to go to grad school. But it's just putting yourself in those positions. Closed mouths don't get fed. If that's something you want to do, ask about it. You can email me. I have some people at VILLANOVA that will be glad to hear stuff like this, and can try and put you in the right places to be able to make those decisions for yourself. So
okay, good deal. So does someone else have something else to say? Okay, this has been a very good session, and Joshua, Russell, Tucci, Devin, folks, let's show them how much we've appreciated this session and this dialogue.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Appreciate you taking time out on Saturday to be with everybody.
Thank you so much.